told you I was going to do a funky dance. So if you're here early, you get to see. Oh no, I forgot to put YouTube up so I can see who's here. Oh, this is the thing that gets me on. Now I have to find our YouTube channel. Let's see if I can find it. Uh-oh, no, it's not there. Oh no! I'm supposed to be dancing right now. Showtime, come on! But I want to find our YouTube channel so I can see if anybody is here, or when you get here, Onward the book. This is how I have to find our YouTube channel. I have to go to our website, and last throughout the year, we're going to celebrate. See, now if you get on here late, then I guess you don't see this unless you watch the video, which gets me out of having to look so foolish. Okay, now, oh, see, now it says I'm live on YouTube, because now I put YouTube up here. Well, the weird thing is, oh no, but I can't do that, because then I can't watch myself at the same, I can't have the background. Wait, is somebody here? Katrina, you're here! Oh, now I feel less like, hi Janet! See, I'm so glad I remembered that I had to do that. Oh, this, okay you guys, come on, Charlotte's here too! Okay, I want you all to do a little dance. Nobody can see you, like everybody can see me. I'm going to get really warm in here because I'm upstairs in my husband's studio and it's hot. Celebrate good times, come on. There we go, some dancing emojis, that works too. Look at this, it's like a little mini reunion here, Katrina and Charlotte and Janet. I'm so happy you guys are here. You're my friends. You really are. I'm so excited that you're here. Emojis are welcome. Anybody else who's joining us, please announce yourself. Join the party. You're a friend too. I'm so excited for this now. This is really fun. Except it's really weird to see myself in the live cam thing and then myself on the... Yes, I got a haircut. Got a haircut for this event. Actually, not really for this event. I really needed to get a haircut. But yes, I got a haircut. I put on my lipstick. That makes it party. I put on my great big earrings from Kenya that I've been needing like a celebratory event to wear for. And I got the music on. I've got Onward and the workbook. I've got some prompts and some questions. I love the earrings too. And they kind of like, they're heavy. They are Dada earrings. They're heavy. And so like I feel them. How are you guys? Speak in the chat. Graphically represent in the chat. Are you getting through the end of the year? Is it crazy? Are you feeling more resilient at the end of this year? Let's start this party. Although I really like hearing the music. I told everybody I was going to be doing a funky dance. I didn't tell everybody. Only some tweets said I was going to do a funky dance. But I didn't say I was going to do it on the camera. So I was doing it, but then I recorded it and put it on Twitter. Anyway, hi you guys. Welcome everybody to this celebration of Onward, which was born on May 1st, 2018. And so it's now a year old. Hi, Akila from Virginia Beach. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I'm so excited to be here with all of you. I really want to hear your stories of your resilience building this year. I kind of just want to sit back in my chair. I've got my glass of water because that's what I had. That's what I wanted. I wanted a glass of water. And I want to hear your stories. I want to know if you had like chapters or sections of chapters or sections of the workbook that were really helpful. I'm going to share one of my biggest insights of using this work this year. I am going to ask you an embarrassing question, and I'm going to share some of my favorite, most recent feedback that I've gotten on Onward. So you guys, it's so weird to write a book because you're just, I know I've said this like, sorry, 5 times or 10 or 15, but like you write it and you're just all alone and looking at a blank page, and you always wonder, or kind of wonder, like, is this going to resonate with people? Is this going to mean anything? Is this a crazy thing to say? Is this ridiculous? Like, one of the things that I want to know is, well, we'll come back to that later. But, you know, and then you, like, create this thing and you send it off and you don't see it for 6 months because, well, you kind of see it, but it's at the publisher. And then it comes and it's like this book. And then you wonder, what is it going to do in its life? And um, it has honestly just been the most amazing year of getting incredible feedback that has been so moving. And I got an email from a woman last week. I won't read it because I think it might be too identifiable, but she is in a district where there were four principals. There's four schools, four principals hired in the beginning of the year. And by the beginning of May, she was the only one still there. Everybody else had quit. And she just talked about how hard it had been the year and how many different challenges she'd faced and how she had picked up Onward over and over again and read parts of it. And she said I was like her silent best friend throughout the year, and that it was what got her through the year. And I just literally, that like feedback almost made me cry, thinking about just how grateful I am to be able to play that role in somebody's life. And then I think just yesterday, let me see, I pulled it up. I was tagged on an Instagram post. Kiana Dubashi put a beautiful post in which she's reading Onward. She's like, I love it. I gotta share this. Cause like she's all like cozy on this maybe big bed, but it's beautiful pillows. And I think one of the pillows says love and the other one is round and pink. And she's just like snuggled up there reading kind of. And then she says, she just talks about how it's the perfect time of year to step back and reflect, and all the challenges that educators face. So she says, the book helps to recognize the full humanity of educators as you navigate the everyday inequities and inadequacies of our school systems as we attempt to give students the quality education they deserve. And I just like that statement is, that first of all, I was so grateful that she read that I recognize the full humanity of educators, and just that connection between being able to address our full humanity and also give kids what they deserve. And then she had a lot more to say about it, but this was just yesterday, and I am so grateful for the comments that people have shared in person or on social media about how Onward has impacted them. And Katrina, thank you also, and thank you for what you shared and what Sarah shared also a couple weeks ago in San Diego. And Charlotte, what you shared also a couple weeks ago in San Diego. I just feel really full with the gratitude. So let me ask you guys something. I'm really curious, like, did you have a favorite chapter? Or was there a section that felt like really helpful, or an exercise in the workbook? And it's kind of, that question is a little bit for me to, sometimes there's big surprises in what people tell me. Sometimes people tell me things that I feel like, oh, I'm so glad because I was not sure about including that. Sometimes, people tell me things that I think like, wow, okay, I'm so glad that resonated because I just kind of put that in there. Maybe someone suggested it. So please, if there is something and you'd like to share that in the chat box. And also, if you've just joined us, please introduce yourselves. I'd love to know who is here, who is in this virtual celebration of the year birthday of my baby. I do feel like my books are like my babies. It is kind of, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means, but I do, because I love them. I love them, and they feel like they are my creations, and they are my legacy, and they are what take my me out into the world and pass it on. Probably. I mean, I don't have the expectation that my child will do that, but my books will definitely, hopefully, do that. So, oh, maybe there is messages, and I'm just not seeing them. Hold on, maybe I'm not scrolling. Uh-oh. No, I don't think that there are any more messages. So share. I really want to know. Or you can share a question, or you can share whether page 161 surprised you, whether that was the one page that someone came up to me once and she was like, I can't believe you put that in there. That was so great. That was her feedback, was that it was great. So, so I can keep babbling because, in spite of the fact that I'm an introvert and, but I do like to talk, but I can really babble. I mean, I can definitely babble for 30 minutes. I won't because that would be really boring and everybody would disconnect. So, any favorite pieces? Anyone else watching? I know lots of you are going to watch afterwards because you watch afterwards and then I can see because I go to YouTube and it says like so many views. I know Lori's going to watch later because she's busy right now. Otherwise, Katrina and Janet and Charlotte, Lori would be here too. Um, Charlotte is sharing in the chat that she really appreciated the dive into anger. The reframing of anger was good. Yes, I loved writing that. I love talking about anger. I love exploring anger. I'm so glad that resonated. Three good things. That was also one that's a practice that I use. You know, okay, here's a lesson that I have found about resilience in the last year, which is, I mean, it's in the workbook. It's the idea is that like I go through these periods where, oh look, Mango's in the picture. Mango, join the party. Can you see Mango right back there? Right back there. There's my kitty, Mango. He really helps me with my resilience. Kitties are really good. Rain is really good. Isn't it good? Rain and the danger of a single story and the difference between anger and aggression. Babbling is a little harder when you are getting over a cold and have little tickles in your throat. What was I just talking about? Oh, I know. I have found, for example, I started 2019 really into my gratitude practice, my 365 photo thing. I really enjoy that app. Like you take a picture of something every day that you're grateful for. Like right now, I would take a picture of, or do a screenshot. And then I did that for probably, it was until I went to Kenya. So end of March. And then I was like, kind of like, I want a new practice. I'm going to shift to a different, I mean, I do a lot of practices, but and now I haven't done my gratitude practice in 2 months, but it's been fine. It's been like really good. But then I shifted into like three good things for a while. And that was really good for me when I was doing like 3 weeks of workshops. That's one of the insights I've had into this continued exploration of how we cultivate resilience. So I'm reading Akila's comment. Thank you. I'm so glad that it's something you recommend, and setting intentions is huge, isn't it? Setting intentions is enormous. Okay, I want to share my big insight about this work and emotional resilience in the last year, which is in part because I started working on the next book, which is Equity by Design. And as I've been writing that and thinking about systemic oppression and thinking about inequities in our schools, my awareness has been my awareness of my emotions has been so present, and my awareness of the like intensity and the overwhelm of, say, the anger and the sadness and the shame and the rage and fear, just these waves of emotion. I'm realizing again and again and again, we cannot do the work around interrupting inequities and dismantling systems of oppression without attending to our emotions, and actually without partnering with them, and without being aware of them in ourselves and in others. And what got so clear to me was that systems of oppression need to communicate constantly messages about emotions being problematic. The message needs to be emotions are untrustworthy, they should not be expressed, they should only be narrowly expressed, they should only be expressed by these people in this way at this time. And actually, systems of oppression can't function if we are fully in touch with our own emotions and with the emotions of others. Because if we are fully in touch with our own emotions and the emotions of others, we are going to have empathy. We are going to have self-compassion. We're going to have self-awareness that allows us to feel a sense of anger, fear, guilt, shame. Systems of oppression can't work if we're in touch with our emotions, because people who are in touch with their emotions will not rape, massacre, enslave, or exploit other people. Systems of oppression work when groups of people who are different than us are othered. And in order for them to be othered and dehumanized, they have to be stripped of their emotions, and their emotions have to be contained, and we have to be stripped of ours, and ours have to be relegated to a tiny little slice. That was like the big epiphany I had. Like, if we embrace our emotions, if we accept them, we're going to be able to connect with the emotions of others, and othering people and saying, those people are defiant, and those people are other, and those people are unapproachable, and those people, it just can't happen. It just can't. So that's one of my big insights from this year. I really am convinced more and more and more that if we are going to truly transform our world and um, and dismantle systemic oppression, dismantle white supremacy and patriarchy and the intersections, and dismantle inhumane economic systems, we're going to have to simultaneously, and perhaps even before just a little bit, explore our emotions, embrace our emotions, learn from them, listen to them, partner with them, and feel them, experience them. Okay, Akila says her favorite chapter was November. That was a big, abrupt shift. I'm done with my speech. Her favorite chapter was November, Take Care of Yourself. I'm so glad, because that one has so many little pieces in it that I just constantly, I feel like I just want to yell at people, like, you have to sleep. You have to. Just eat some food. Eat a handful of almonds, and you will feel better. You'll feel better. But the section in there, I think, that I also just really enjoyed writing was about, why is it so hard? Because we know and we hear these all the time, that we need to take care of ourselves. And so I really enjoyed digging into why is it so hard to take care of ourselves. And the section on martyrdom I also really liked. And the section on 161, which, if you don't have your book in front of you, is called Get It On. And really, truly, yes, I am really hoping that some people had some good sex this year, and that they can say, I feel really, really happy if they can say, because they read in Onward, that I said that they should have sex. So that would be awesome. That's one of my hopes. Okay, Katrina also says core values. Core values is always a really a big hit. And if anybody else is watching and wants to introduce themselves or ask a question or share a part of Onward that had a big impact on you, please do so. We've got some lovely friends here having a little bit of a conversation or a sharing in our chat box. And Charlotte, yes. Oh, that's so awesome. That makes me so happy. Okay, so something else that I want to say before I forget is the Onward website. There was just so much to share about resilience. And so I realized as I was writing the book that we needed to have a whole website to provide additional resources and content and the videos and other blogs. And Janet came onto the Bright Morning team primarily to manage that website. And manage is a technical word because she has scoured the corners of the internet for great content and blogs that we've reshared, and there's so much there. And now all of that is organized into the monthly habits, the monthly chapters and habits. And so check it out as you go into year 2. I hope year 2 you'll continue to cultivate your resilience. And perhaps to go back through the workbook and do the activities that you didn't do this year. Because what I realized is that, like, oh my God, this workbook is so heavy. Every time I pick it up, I just cannot believe it's so heavy. But, it's so unlikely. I mean, really, if you did every single exercise through the year, then I definitely want to talk to you. Let's have lunch. I want to hear what impact it had on your resilience, because there's a lot in this book. And so go back through and do the ones you didn't do. Do the ones you felt like you wanted to skip. That would be me in a lot of workbook activities. I'm like, nah, that doesn't sound so good. Nah, I'll skip that one. Do those because there could be something really useful for you in there. You know what I just flipped open to? It's so wild. I flipped open to the Myers-Briggs section, which, oh my God, if you haven't done your Myers-Briggs test, that is just so illuminating. And I have been doing like cleaning and organizing what we've been doing in our house for a year. I just found a Myers-Briggs test that my mother sort of made me take when I was 22. She worked in a college career counseling office, and it's like on mimeograph paper are the results, and it's handwritten at the top. I'm an INFJ, and it's so wild. So I was at 22, I took this test. I was an INFJ, and then I took it again. I've totally forgot about it. I took it again at about 40. 10 years ago, and it came out again INFJ. But reading the one when I was 22, that description so accurately describes me. It's like, it's eerie. And the number one profession has like a list of recommended professions, and it's citing some percentage of how many people who are INFJs go into this field. The top one is a priest. And the second one, like, I'm going to photograph this. I was going to share it somewhere because I was like, this is unbelievable. The second one is an educational consultant. Like, that is wild. We're talking back in 1992. A priest, an educational consultant, and then like the third one is something like a psychologist. And I was showing my husband. I was like, look, isn't that amazing? You know, he's like, yeah, that's basically what you are, right? Blend of all of those. So take your Myers-Briggs test if you haven't. I'm so curious. Katrina, what are you? Do you know your Myers-Briggs type? Charlotte, I can't remember what you are either. I think you just told me 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure I can remember Janet if I think for a moment, but thinking and talking at the same time is not my forte. Anybody else who's here have a question? I can see that there's a handful of people watching me. Can you see how cute my cats are? Oh, they're so sweet. Look, they're cuddling. Janet is an ESFJ. That's right. Okay, look, you guys, look at how cute my cats are. Do you see how they're cuddling? Serena is the black kitty, and she has her paw on Mango's paw. I know, I'm running out of things to talk about, so I'm entertaining you guys with my cats. Okay, look. I love my cats so much. Look at them. Aren't they so sweet? They're really sweet. They're shelter siblings. And what I can show you here, now the sun is here. This is my husband's art studio here. It's actually one of his art studios, but his little art studio at home. Okay, you guys, INFP. You're an extroverted introvert. Yes, you are. Yes, I remember having that conversation actually now in Kenya about your IE. Katrina, if you haven't done your Myers-Briggs, you gotta take that. You guys, I could keep babbling, but people are gonna quit because I'm gonna get boring at some point. Let's see. Another ESFJ. Maybe I asked you that at our dinner. It's hard for me to remember everything, but I'm sure you understand that. I wasn't prepared with enough stories. Oh, thank you, Charlotte. I know, my, it's so interesting. Like, it's so interesting and weird being, like, writing these things, and then people talk to me and remember things and share things. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I shared that. Because again, when I'm writing, I'm like all alone in my office. It's hard to imagine that people are actually going to read it. But I really do hope that it provides conversation and that it allows people to think and to know more, and to yeah, I'm going to stop myself right there because there's a lot more to share. Well, my friends, I think I'm going to call this to a close because I think I've been going on long enough, and I really appreciate all of you joining me. And I know that many of you are going to be watching this afterwards, and I would still love to hear from you. In the comments below is a great place, as well as on social media, or old-fashioned email is fine too. Just really what I'm curious what celebrations you feel like you've had as related to your resilience building this year. When have been the moments when you've noticed that you've been able to respond to an adversity or a challenge with perhaps just a few more resources in your mind or in your heart or in your pocket or in your workbook? Um, Mostly, I want to invite you to think about how much you've grown and changed. And I know that it has happened even if you haven't done every single exercise in the workbook. Um, Hi, Linda. Thank you for asking that question. Do I think a second year of Onward with a group is beneficial? I think a second year would be ideal, and a third and a fourth year, because I imagine every year people can go deeper with themselves as well as with each other. I think the first year of engaging in this kind of reflection and conversation, people may have stayed at a safer level, and a second year might give people the opportunity to really get deeper into those conversations and sharing with each other and being vulnerable. And going back, I've done a lot of the exercises in Onward this year, and I'm surprised at how much more, how deep I can go. So I would definitely try it out and engage a group in thinking about what do we want to get out of the second year? How might we go deeper? How might we be able to see our resilience grow? So yes, thank you for that question. Charlotte wants to know if I have a favorite chapter of Onward. That's so hard. It's like, I don't know. I think that, for example, the chapter on storytelling is so critical. The chapter on mindfulness called Be Here Now is also essential. I really enjoyed writing Play and Create. That one was really fun. I really enjoyed writing The Bright Spots, focus on the bright spots, and Celebrate and Appreciate. I really enjoyed that one too. I also really enjoy the introduction and conclusion. I find that like those are really fun for me to write. I usually write the introduction first, and the conclusion I write like the day before the book is due, because it's all just synthesized in my mind, and it's like, okay, you have 24 hours to get out, so no dilly-dallying in my brain. So yes, and Linda, I'm so glad to hear that you'll be at that event in Santa Cruz. I'm excited about that. I love going to Santa Cruz. It's like home for me because I went to UCSC, and it is always the place where I first felt the greatest sense of belonging and home. I felt like I was home. And so going back there, going anywhere in Santa Cruz makes me so full of joy. The storytelling chapter. Yeah, it's all about storytelling. It's all about how we see things. It's all about our perceptions. It's all about the meaning that we make. It's all about the story. You're doing a celebratory hike. I love that. I love a celebratory hike. And setting intentions for next year. Intentions are really, really powerful. Really powerful. You guys, okay, wait, we've got someone else here. Fonda, hi Fonda. The leadership team at my school read Onward this year and took turns leading a chapter each month. That's awesome. Distributed leadership. Do you have ideas to help us reflect on the year of learnings as a whole? Yes. In the Onward workbook, there are actually some activities at the very end. I believe that they're in the conclusion chapter that will help you reflect on your whole year of building resilience. There are. I'm so glad that I remember accurately. On page 630, there are. That's where it starts. There's a few pages there. Oh, you know what I really love in the conclusion of the workbook is the create a poster prompt. And also the now what prompt. So all of those in the conclusion, there's not a lot. I tried to keep it minimal. Will be really helpful to reflect and sort of synthesize and identify what's next. Thank you for, yeah, I think the things that are visual, that's the creative poster, is combining images and words, kind of like a vision board for resilience. If anybody does that, oh, please take a picture, send it to me personally, or you can put it on social media somewhere. And, ooh, Charlotte, you did the self-assessment recently. I love that. Would you be willing to share just a little tiny insight into like where is it that you had grown? I'm so curious what it was, where it was, or you can just text me or we can talk. But yes, I love knowing and hearing just exactly in what little areas we are. I've been noticing um, how much slower I am to react. It's a good thing, just kind of how there's more space in between stimulus and response, or in between the event and the interpretation. I'm just feeling like this spaciousness in there, and that might be also connected to the meditation teacher program that I started, and so the sharp increase in my number of minutes meditating. But that's been really awesome. Katrina, you have a question about facilitating and choosing the activities. Please ask the question. I'm going to take a sip of water while you ask that because talking a lot makes you thirsty. Is that the question? Maybe that's the question. The question is, how do you facilitate and choose the activities? Is that the question? I always encourage people in decision-making moments where you want to get people's deep investment is to, maybe each person selects one, or maybe each person selects like two or three, and then everybody else chooses of those three, like which is the one that they would want to do, and if there's any one that they really don't want to do, that they don't feel comfortable doing or safe doing, that they let the group know, like, this is a no for me. I'm not in a place where I can talk about this with colleagues. I have to say, Katrina's group wins the all-time prize for the number of images that they took with their book club and in their activities, and they shared on social media. You win, Katrina. Share that with your group. And then I also have to say Lori Cohen wins the prize, at least for taking pictures of her drawings and sharing those on social media. Other people may have also done them and just not shared them. It is really helpful to have co-facilitators. That's what Charlotte is sharing. And Katrina, the majority of your staff is introvert. So maybe just choose activities that allow them to have more one-on-one or small group, trio conversations where they can go deeper. They probably need more opportunities to get to know each other and to build trust before they go into the really deep activities. And, if you chose the activities to start with, I'm curious what happened. Like, sometimes that can be absolutely fine. And then, right, so maybe going into the second year, maybe one person can choose an activity each month, or they can, there can be a little mini committee for each month that selects the activity. So I really hope that you guys keep playing with this next year and seeing what happens. I really wish I had, okay, I just need to speak my wishes into the universe. I wish there were some researchers from some university or some place that has like the ability to do research that would study one school or one group of teachers using these resilience strategies for a year and see what happens. Because my suspicion is that if people really use this for, even multiple years, that we'd see so many huge changes in our schools. I don't have the research capacities. I'm not really interested in doing research. It's interesting, but I hope someone else might. I'll put that out into the universe. Katrina, do you see that Charlotte is saying they did some text rendering protocols that were really good for introverts? And Oh, Fonda, I'm so glad you did that activity of appreciations of pulling a name out of a hat. I loved that. It's so much fun. And oh, you opened grade level meetings doing that thing with the student names. I love that too. Um, well, Katrina, you might also ask them, if they prefer that you just pick them or if they're sort of like, what's going on here? You guys, you don't want to pick or you don't have the capacity, sort of the mental, emotional capacity to pick right now. See, I could just hang out here with you guys for a long time, but it's so weird to just be like talking and talking and talking. Um, Usually I listen to people a lot. Maybe it's all the like built up talking inside of me, all the words in my head. I want to be useful though. Let's see. Uh, what else could we do? Our summer retreat that we are doing in 1440 filled up so early and now has this big long waiting list. And so I've really been thinking about how to do more in-depth experiences, retreats. I want to make it affordable. And that's something is just on my mind. I guess my questions then, Charlotte, is like, what else do you guys feel you need in terms of continuing to cultivate your resilience? What else do you need? What else could I provide, or what else could I facilitate? I gotta plug my computer in. Hold on. It fell out. Where did it go? Yeah. What else do you need? What would be helpful? What can we support you in? What, I don't know. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of take up of the Facebook group, but we've been trying all different kinds of things this year to see like what is their interest in terms of the continued need for building resilience. Aw, Janet, I don't know if you're still here, but you got to see that Charlotte loved the resource on the website and has shared many of those videos in team meetings, which is what we hoped. And Katrina, what I'm really hearing from you is that you would appreciate, or you could use some more sort of facilitation tips. Like, how do you do this with a group of introverts? How do you pick topics? How do you pick activities? So yes, Janet, that's what we're kind of trying to work on next is like almost like a manual, like the teacher's guide for supporting people in facilitating Onward, agenda templates or suggestions for meetings, agendas, sequences of activities, and all of that. And thank you, Fonda. I would love to hear. I would love to hear any feedback. Yes, Onward, the book website is just amazing. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. So let's see. Do I have any more questions for you? Do I have any more questions? I'm curious if there was anything you noticed in colleagues who used it, that you were in groups with, that anything you noticed about how they engaged with this work or experienced it, perhaps if you heard themes about people's reflections or experiences. I think we could have like a whole webinar on working with introverts for extroverts, right? It'll be like, extroverts, here's how you work with introverts, and maybe introverts, here's how you work with extroverts. And extroverts, and when you're facilitating, how to manage the extroverts, facilitation tips. Yeah, that's what we want to do next. That's our intention. We just need time. We just need to find some time. Yeah, how to be comfortable speaking. Well, introverts like to speak one-on-one. Look at me. I'm like talking for 40 minutes here all by myself. Introverts, although I don't feel like I'm talking alone, but introverts like to speak to one other person, and they like to have more time to speak, and they also like to have think, pair, share, right? So introverts need time to process before they talk. Yeah, protocols are really good for introverts like structure. We feel less anxious about the performance element of speaking when we've had structure. And so structure like protocol. And yeah, and especially things also, because Charlotte's saying like chalk talks, walk and talks, text rendering, but also I would say things that allow us to engage um, in a way that doesn't prioritize verbal communication. Like, I think that introverts also really enjoy um, exploring other modalities. Like, we don't like to do group dancing and hokey pokey and things like that. We don't like that because some of us can be a little shy. But we can really enjoy um, drawing or using clay or creating collages or looking at images and talking about images, symbolic thinking poetry. Um, and Fonda has a comment there in the comment section. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So I think lots of ideas. I feel some validation for the direction that we want to go. And just so everybody knows, we also take our workshops on resilience on the road and share them. And that's something that Jen is doing a lot more now is we have a workshop that is for coaches and leaders on how do you cultivate resilience in others. And we have a workshop that is how do you cultivate your resilience? How do you grow your resilience? And that one is great for teachers, for coaches, for leaders, for anybody. And we have both of those in a 1-day and a 2-day version. So we take those on the road. And I'm also really curious. Fonda's saying if I could do it again, I would have us reflect on the month between to talk about ways we use strategy deep in our reservoirs. Yes. Oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. That would be so interesting. Um, Great. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you came and spent this time with me. And thank you to those who are going to watch later because I can sense through the dimension of time that you are here present. And again, your comments would be really great. And I hope to keep hearing from all of you. Onward. That was a really unenthusiastic. Onward! How's this my little dance? I really need to choreograph a little onward dance. Onward. I'm gonna work on that for year 2. Okay, everybody? Oh, I have no idea how to make it stop now because I moved this all around. Well, I don't know if I can make it stop. Onward, onward dance, onward dance. I can't put on the music because I can't concentrate anymore. Let's see if it stops right there. Oh, this is really funny. I don't know how to make it stop. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, bye everybody.